Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Plumley, and I am here on behalf of the Ridgewood Guild International Film Festival, and I am here to interview one of our filmmakers. So, would you please welcome Tony Germinario? Did I get that
Very
right?
good. Yes, that's great.
Woohoo! Okay.
First try.
And you are the director of No Warning, is that right?
Writer, director, yes.
Writer and director of the
Yeah,
film, the short film No Warning.
correct.
So, Tony, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how did you get into filmmaking?
Sure. Originally from New Jersey, although I now live in right outside of Charleston, South Carolina. Had to get out of the cold weather for a while, so I'm down here now in the South. But started filmmaking probably in earnest, probably about 12 or 13 years ago. I wrote a few scripts, was able to get one made, and then I decided I wanted to write and direct my own projects. So I wrote a feature called Bad Frank that actually did pretty well. Did another follow-up called The Price for Silence that also did pretty well. And, been just in the process of working on some other projects, getting some scripts ready in the meantime. And that kind of brought us to No Warning.
Okay, all right. Um, so, could you give us a little bit about your background in filmmaking, a little bit more, dig a little deeper into how you got into all of this?
Sure. I mean, when I graduated from college, all I wanted to do was be in film. I actually had a job lined up with, back in the day, Orion Pictures. But as soon as I graduated, they went Chapter 11. So I had to kind of make my way in another venue. But I wound up, at the time, I was actually a musician as well. So I played in a touring band for a number of years. But as we got older, people started getting married and having kids. So band kind of went its separate ways. But I always still needed that creative outlet. So I turned back to film and started writing some scripts. And the first ones were pretty awful, I'll admit. But they started getting better and better. And, I was actually hired by someone to write a script for them where they said, "We have an idea, we want someone to write it." So it was really my first real gig in the industry where I got paid all of $100 in order to write a script. But um, it was a great learning experience. I made a great relationship with someone who then went on to direct one of my scripts. But we really hit it off. And his name was Choice Skinner, great guy. We've worked on several projects together over the years. We even have a script now that we're trying to pitch. But once we made that project, I said, I would love to really direct something because as great a job as Choice did, in your head, it's like, wow, what would I have done that same thing? Would I have made that same choice as a director? So I wanted to see what I could do. And we got just a little bit of money together, found a good crew, a good cast, really on a small, low budget picture called Bad Frank. But we were fortunate enough to work with Tom Sizemore, the late Tom Sizemore, who did a fantastic job in the film. Brian O'Halloran, who is from Clerks, another
Oh,
New
yeah.
Jersey guy who was awesome. Kevin Interdonato was the star of the film, and we got some pretty good recognition. Got into a bunch of festivals, and the film did well on the streaming platforms. It allowed me to make another film called The Price for Silence, which was another one we did very well on the festival circuit as well as on the streaming platforms there. But we had Lynn Mancinelli was the star of that, but we got to work with Richard Thomas on that one, and he was sort of such an icon to work with. But we made those projects, and then from there, I've mainly been writing since then. I did direct a couple of small projects. I directed a series for a friend of mine, Zach, who did a pilot that we worked on. But since that, I've just been putting together some projects and really trying to get to, the next feature that we're looking to do. But in the meantime, I had a great opportunity with No Warning, so we put it together, and we're fortunate to put something together. I think that's pretty meaningful.
Great. So that's leads into my next question. What gave you the idea for No Warning?
So what originally happened is Bruno Ferreira, who's my cinematographer I've worked with before. He actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, we just got this brand new red camera. Do you have anything we can practice with?" And I said, "No, I don't have anything offhand, but I have something I think I could write." So No Warning's actually based on a personal experience. I have my youngest daughter actually went through some bullying experiences, so it's a little bit of sort of what was going through my head
Mhm.
when I was trying to come to grips with the situation. Because the title "No Warning" is very apropos because we really had no idea what she was going through and, sort of what she was experiencing. So, as a parent going through that, it wasn't easy. It's difficult because you experience so many different emotions. You think about, what did you do wrong? What could you have done? And, how you want to lash out. And that's really what this is. So, in essence, when we first did it, this was really just to test the camera. But I said, listen, I think we can write something that is sort of a little snippet of a bigger story. So this is really a proof of concept, not only just to test the camera, but it was really like, hey, this is actually part of a bigger project. So
Right.
I'm in the process of finalizing a feature script right now, which will go a little bit more in depth into the experience that the father and mother have in handling this the scenario that they're going through.
Right.
So that's kind of where it came from, and it was a little bit challenging to film, kind of reliving some of the emotions and the thoughts that were going on at that point.
Hmm.
Um, and I was very fortunate that Nick Daly, who's the lead actor, did a phenomenal job. He was very in tune with what I was asking him to do. He was very open to trying different things, and he came across with a great performance. So I'm really hoping we get the opportunity to make the feature because I think he can really just nail it and hit it out of the park.
Right, right. And boy, you do this so well. You led right into my next question. Um, the film to me appeared to be the middle of a story, right? You're just dropped right into this, and it's sort of jarring, when you realize that the subject is the subject of the story is not even there,
Yeah.
it's just the parents. And I so you've answered the question. You were testing out a camera. By the way, what is a red camera?
It's just like a 4D camera, right? It has to do with the number of pixelations and everything, and it's just super intense camera. It gives you the ability to really capture colors and shades in a way that is very engrossing. And to me, that like when I first saw it, I was like, wow, this looks great because we had our lighting, we had minimal lighting. We only had I mean, we had four actors, and then I think we had five other people on set. So this was as minimal as you can get.
Right.
Again, this was just a test. We had no budget. We just like, hey, let's get together and let's just go do something. Um, so
Wow.
yeah, that's basically what it was. And again, that's why it's really just a snippet because we wanted to have minimal actors. I didn't want to have any children on set, right? I just wanted to say let's do something where we can get some really solid acting, showcase and highlight what they do. So from Lizzie Plimpton, who played the female lead, and Brandon Schrammel and Caitlin Riley, those are the other two actors. Each one of them was phenomenal. Very easy to work with, very energetic and very resourceful in the way they approach their role. So we were really just sometimes you catch lightning in a bottle, and considering we shot the entire thing, I think in 14 hours. So to get that in a day and a half was just a great experience.
Yeah, yeah. So, just getting back to the idea of the camera, is it like a really good camera for doing like the close-ups that you had? Like so much of here is somebody and you can see like every thought going across their face, and it's very intimate and really powerful.
Yeah, it did allow us to get some of the shots that we felt were really integral to expressing the emotion that we were looking for.
Right.
So in that regard, yeah, I mean, Bruno's a genius. He's an old soul. He's someone I've worked with on a couple different projects, and the great thing with working with Bruno is I can tell him what I'm looking for, and he knows exactly how to deliver it. And sometimes I can't even express the right way to do it, but he knows what I'm thinking,
Hmm.
and he can
Hmm.
just jump right in and do it. And to me,
Right.
that's the best relationship, right? It's a symbiotic relationship where he knows what I'm looking for, and a lot of times he's thinking, hey, we need how we got to figure out a way to do this, and I can figure out how to help him get to the shot that he needs to get to. So he's just great to work with, and I consider myself lucky that we found each other.
That's great. That's great. Um, in making this, again, you were testing the camera, but did you think of a target audience? Or was it just, hey, let's just try this out. We have an intimate thing. Oh, I have this idea of a personal story, you know. What were you thinking of a target audience?
I wouldn't say necessarily a target audience. I mean, my whole goal with this was I want to get eyes on it.
Mhm.
Number one, because I wanted to showcase the actors, because number one, anytime that someone works with me, I'm so appreciative that they will, entrust their skills with me, that I want to do as much as I can to promote them, promote, their talents and the things that they do. So getting it out in front of as many eyes as we can as possible was really the most important thing, not only for their talents, but I did want to kind of share this story because I think there are probably a lot of parents that go through similar situations that don't know what to do,
Yeah.
right? So, and not that I'm telling someone what to do, because in the feature, it's going to get a little bit more vengeful. But I just want people to know that, you're not alone out there. There are a lot of people that experience these sort of things, and you might not even know about it, right? The person, your neighbor, your best friend might not talk about it because it's not something that's easy to express. It's not something that's easy to let people know about because you never know what the reaction is, right? And the way that people kind of reflect on it. Like I said, for my wife and I, what did we do wrong, right? And at the end of the day, we didn't do anything wrong,
Hmm.
but you feel that way. You feel helpless, and sometimes you don't want to let people in on that, right? Because it's not an easy feeling. So this was sort of my way because I'm a visual person. I'm a storyteller. This was sort of my way of kind of almost working through it and purging a little bit. So
Right, right.
that's really what helped me talk about it a little bit because a lot of my friends didn't know about the situation or what was going on, and when I told them about this project, they I can't tell you how many of them said, "Oh, I went through something similar with my child."
Hmm.
So it's kind of a way of mending a little bit and sort of developing a little bit of a community.
Right, exactly. And that's one of the things that art can do, right? Is helping
Sure.
be cathartic, but also to let people know, hey, I've done, oh my gosh, I've done this too. And yeah, to build a community. And that's
Yeah,
really important, especially in situations like this where technology is not always our friend, right? With younger
100%.
people, boy, they live in a world that didn't exist when we were young.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and it's really, yeah, something else. So I guess we've answered my last question too, which is what message do you want viewers to take with them? Which is exactly that, right? That, this kind of thing that's awful. Um, we, it's you're not the only one. Yeah, you're not alone, and there are other people, and there's help out there, and um, yeah, in the end, it is something that makes you feel a little bit hopeful. Like, okay, it's a horrible thing, but hey, this person went through it, this person went through it. What did they do? How can we bond together, support each other, find the help that we need, help our kids? Yeah, yeah, that's wonderful. Well,
Yeah, I
thank
think
you.
there's
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say that as we do look to make this into a feature, I am a storyteller, so I want to make it a little bit more visual with some of the things that we're thinking about and put more of a story behind it. But
Yeah.
there is going to be to me, it's definitely that underlying thought of, there are people that go through this all the time, right? And maybe think about that as you're approaching your situation, no matter which side you're on, whether
Hmm.
you're on, the side of someone who's being bullied, or if you're on the side of the one whose child might be doing the bullying,
Yeah.
right? So in some cases, I want to build a little bit of a community, but in other cases, it's almost a little bit of a warning, like, hey, don't let your kids do these sort of things. Be a little bit more mindful
Hmm.
of what your children are doing. Otherwise, there can be some severe consequences.
Right.
So that's kind of, not that I would ever do anything like, but just being a storyteller and visual, making it so
Sure.
cinematic. That's kind of how I would approach it. But
Sure.
yeah, it's definitely something where you want to make sure, voices get heard.
Right, right, exactly. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Really
My pleasure.
appreciate it. Yeah, and I was very moved by the film, and good luck with making it into feature length. We'll be
Thank
on
you
the
very much.
lookout for that. So, okay,
Appreciate it.
thanks very much. Bye
Thanks. A
bye.
pleasure.